What is a function? Function is a relation between two sets of numbers, or you can say that it is a relation between the input and the output, because function basically is the rule that takes an input, it takes an input, does something to it, and then it provides an output. Think of it like it's some kind of machine that you are giving some numbers or some inputs, it does its thing to it, and then it provides an output. The example of the function is f of x. Here f and x are just the notations, are just the symbols which are most commonly used for describing functions. But we can use different symbols also. For example, instead of f, we can use g, and instead of x, we can use a, and we would have g of a, and this will be also a function as f of x, and we can also use h instead of f or instead of g, and b instead of x or instead of a, and this will also work. It's the same. All of them is a function, but just written in different symbols. So now let's take an example. I have this function f of x is equal to x plus 2. It means that any number we input as x, the function will add 2, and it will give us a result. For example, this is the input, this is the input, and let's say we will input here the number 3. So f of 3, and this is equal to, instead of x, we will write the inputted number, in this case it is 3, 3 plus 2, and this is 5. So we inputted 3, our function added 2 to it, and we got our result, which is 5. We can try a different one. For example, f of 7, in this case we inputted 7 to the function. Instead of x, we will write 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. So we inputted 7, our function added 2 to it, and it returned 9. Also note that f of x and y are the same. F of x is equal to y, they are basically the same, but the difference between x and y is that x is called a domain of the function, while y is called the range of the function. Range of the function. These are pretty important terms, so I would recommend you to remember them. A great way to visualize a function is through its graph. So now let's graph some function. For example, we have f of x is equal to 2x plus 1. If we want to graph this function, the first step we do is to draw a table of the equation. And we do it like that. We write here x and we write here y. X's are inputs, y's are outputs. So let's say we inputted 0 to this function. So we would have f of 0 is equal to 2 times 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. So for x, which is 0, we get y, which is 1. So we inputted 0, we got 1 as the output. Now let's input another number, let's say 1 to the function. We will have f of 1 is equal to 2 times 1 plus 1, which is 2 plus 1, and this is 3. So for x, which is equal to 1, we have y, which is equal to 3. Now this is linear function. What means that the graph of this function is just a straight line. but for the straight line, just 2 points are important to draw them, but for the sake of practice, let's add another point. For example, let's say we inputted 2 into the function. F of 2 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, so we got output 5. So x is equal to 2, y is equal to 5. Now, let's graph this function. Let's draw x or y coordinate plane here, which is something like that. Here is x, here is o, here is y. Now, let's numerate them 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not gonna need more. So let's mark these points on that plane. While x is 0, y is 1. So x is 0 here, y 1 is here, and intersection of these 2 points is here. So this is 1 point. X is 1 here, y is 3, 1, 2, 3 here, and the point will be there. X2 here, 3, 4, 5 here, and we have these 3 points. And as I said, the graph of this function is just a straight line. So we just have to draw the line which goes through these 3 points, which will be something like that. And this is the graph of the given function. And that's the way how we draw them. Also, note that a function must give exactly one output for each input. Otherwise, it is not a function, but just a relation. So we have this here. This is the set of all relations. And this is the set of all functions. So all function is a relation. This is true. But not all relation is a function. So we have some relations just floating over there which are not functions. One example of that is y square is equal to 60 over x. This might look like a function at first glance, but it is not. It is just a relation. Because now let's say we inputted 4 in that equation. X is 4. We will get x is 4. We will get that y square is equal to 60 over 4, which is 4. And from that we get that y is equal to square root from 4, and this is plus or minus 2. So for x equal to 4, we get y is equal to 2 or y is equal to minus 2. So for one input 4, we got two numbers, positive and negative 2. And this is not a function, but a relation. If we draw function, the graph of the function, we will have something like that as a result. The graph looks like this. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is 4, this is 2, there is 2, and they meet here. This is 1 point, this is second point, and on the graph itself we can do vertical line test, which is basically just drawing a vertical line on the graph to see if it intersects with the graph more than once. And here, as we can see, it intersects with the graph 2 times, so we can say this is not a function.